Hey all, today I'm gonna go through the process of updating the F256K from retro Foenix systems. Very similar steps can be used to update its cheaper counterpart, the F256 Jr. Now let's make it crystal clear on which type of update this video is about. There are two components that can be updated on the F256K, the FPGA Field Programmable Gate Array. That's what I'm about to show you how to update today. This is the more involved one of the two, since it requires a specific piece of gear that connects to the 10-pin JTAG connector found on the bottom of the unit. I'm going to show you the cheap option for that gear that worked for me in a moment. I'm not someone, so far, who needs to program FPGAs in my work or in my hobbies. I'm more on the side of a consumer of a Foenix product who's willing to take the necessary steps to keep up with the development. So if you're in the same situation, keep on listening. The second component you can update on your F256K is the flash memory, all 512 kilobytes of it. It's much easier to do and will probably happen more frequently, especially in these early days. The only piece of equipment you need to update that is a mini USB cable that can link to your modern computer. The flash memory contains whatever configuration you want to hold in your RAM upon boot up. A great article explaining what comes stock in your machine and what other configurations are possible is explained in the Foenix Rising newsletter issue number 4 by E.M. White. Link to it in the description. In a nutshell, modifying the contents of your flash memory decides which kernel gets loaded, if you want superbasic included or not even at all. If you wanted to free space in your RAM while you use your computer, that will also be possible. I'll cover a quick overview of this in another video. First, let's check out the state of my machine as I bought it in the very first official production run of December 2022 and received it in May of 2023. You can easily verify it with these 3 lines. The FPGA firmware version showed up as hardware 0004 0000B0. The microkernel sitting in flash memory, mine was the April 25th, 2023 version 13. Superbasic is also sitting in flash memory, mine was April 4th, 2023 version 01B. As I said earlier, I'm going to show you how to update the much more involved Altera Cyclone IV FPGA as seen here on my board, and this will affect only the first line. Now about the gear you need. There are 2 options that were recommended by Stéphanie Allaire, the originator and designer of the whole Foenix retro systems. The cheapest one at about $26 and this is what I use myself successfully, is the USB JTAG blaster that can be found on Amazon, link provided. In case the link shows as sold out, you can also purchase it from earthpeopletechnology.com here. The second pricier option, listed at around $70 stocked on a reputable Digikey, is the Terasic blaster. So, for the USB JTAG blaster, one end has a micro USB port that connects to your modern computer. Make sure the cable you're using can deal with both power and data. The other end has a 10-pin JTAG connector that goes to the pins underneath the F256K. It's keyed, so it can only be plugged in one way. Checking out the inevitably outdated printed documentation that came with my EPT2232H SPS1 JTAG blaster, I went ahead and tried to type out the link to a .dll, a dynamic linked library, which will be added to the software from Intel. More on this in a bit. Of course, the link didn't work as is, or I typed it incorrectly, so I just went ahead and navigated their website and found it myself easily. Next, we pay a visit to Intel.com and find Intel Quartus Prime Lite Edition design software. It's a behemoth at 5.8 gigabytes. It was suggested I get version 18.1 rather than the latest and greatest, which was version 22.1.1. But wait, instead of getting the full package, I head on over at additional files, where I can simply get the programmer software. I don't personally care about designing my own FPGA programs nor simulate them. I just want the basic functionality of sending an already prepared design, which comes in a .jic file format, to my FPGA sitting inside my F256K. After the Quartus programmer software is installed, and I'm assuming you're using a Windows PC like me, you have to follow these instructions found both in the paper documentation and the PDF on the official website. The DLL you downloaded earlier has to be copied inside this folder, marked with the version of the programmer you installed, /Quartus/bin64. Once that's done, you can finally open your programmer, which will hopefully recognize your plugged-in JTAG blaster. Full disclosure, my first attempt at flashing the chip was not successful. It froze during the process and left me wondering what mistake I've done. After rebooting my Windows PC, it worked completely, but I can't say for sure it was needed. Make sure you plug in the JTAG connector under your F256K, which I've propped up on top of NES gamepads here. Power on your F256K. Go over Add Hardware and select your JTAG blaster from the pull-down menus. Click on Add File and pick your .jic file to be copied over. These kinds of files are not publicly floating around, but can be obtained if you ask for help in the Foenix Retro System Discord, link below. Then just click on Start and it should complete in about 2 minutes or less. Here's a good question. Why did I go through the trouble of doing all that? Did I have to? The obvious first answer is that the F256 Platform K and Jr. included is a very living one at the moment, and some key functionalities may yet be added down the line as new ideas manifest themselves or bugs are found. It's not a super frequent event yet, and I'd rather be on that side of the fear of missing out. I don't have any other piece of gear that uses a Cyclone IV chips or Altera anything in my collection of gizmos, so I can't scale up the value of my JTAG blaster for now, but who knows when that might change. The other reason is that, being an early adopter of the first production run sold in December 2022, I seem to have encountered a bug with one of my superbasic programs. My program draws a Mandelbrot fractal, the most popular one I'm sure you've seen, and this obviously uses a lot of multiplications and divisions with real numbers, aka floats. So I guess it can serve as a good stress test for the CPU and FPGA, since it takes close to 3 hours to finish. Unfortunately, my F256K in the state such as I received it could not finish drawing the whole full-screen bitmap before the runtime broke. Frustratingly, I could never faithfully reproduce exactly when it broke. Sometimes it was near the beginning, sometimes the end, and it actually finished once. I started asking other F256 owners, K and Jr. alike, if they could test it on their machines. Lo and behold, no one else had the same issue. I made sure to ask which version of hardware, FPGA firmware, kernel, and superbasic they had, and none had the same combination as me. More importantly, my hardware revision was the most outdated among all of the K owners. This is the second reason why I wanted to update my FPGA to see if this would fix it. So let's go ahead and rerun the program. See you in 3 hours. And it did fix it. If you want to perform that test on your own machine, I'll link to my GitHub repo on my small basic doodles. Thanks for watching this video, and expect other simple tutorials in my general experience on this channel. So I hope this video helped you. Consider subscribing to stay tuned. Bye for now.